Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. The new Season 5 update obviously is here for Black Ops 6 and Warzone, and within Warzone specifically, we got a pretty significant meta update, buffing a lot of different options, even nerfing a few of the top tier choices as well. And so today, I wanted to go through and break down the new top 10 best meta loadouts that you want to be running for Season 5, starting first with a fantastic one. And as we're going through everything here today, keep in mind as we're starting off here with the perks and equipment, this is basically the same on every single setup. I pretty much copy and paste all my perks and equipment throughout, unless we're using gunfighter instead of overkill, of course, for a second primary there. But usually I'm going for the smokes on my tacticals, just instant concealment, so you have the cover to res, to rotate, whatever the case is. It's the end all be all answer for all your problems in Warzone, basically. And then I really do like impact nades. Frags are great, semtexes are great, obviously resurgence, throwing knives for those instant finishes is fantastic as well. This is really a matter of preference. There's a lot of good choices here for sure. Survivor in perk 1, that health regen being faster is just so huge in my opinion. Bomb squad in perk 2, I am so sick of dying to random explosives, and this is a huge help, especially since they buffed it not too long ago. And then gung ho in perk 3, so I can reload while attack sprinting. That's my main takeaway from that. But like I said, that's the same on every single class setup. Now we can just focus on the primaries and the secondaries, starting first with a great setup here, the Cypher paired with the PPSH. Cypher making a run for the new #1 best gun in the game yet again. PPSH really reliable, SMG buffed as well with this update, which is nice to see. For the Cypher 5 attachment build here, going to be pretty straightforward. Volsky reflex or whatever optic you're the most comfortable with, go ahead and rock that there. I go for monolithic suppressor to extend out that range and that velocity, and reinforced barrel to do more of the same. So we end up with a 1238 velo and a 52 meter effective damage range, which is fantastic for big map or resurgence there. This is a pretty easy to use gun, so I go for ranger foregrip on here. I get some sprinting speed, which is always solid there, plus some horizontal control, of course. And then extended to 60 round are going to be working fine here for all squad sizes. Then on the PPSH, this is my spray and pray machine. I got long barrel on here, extends out that damage range to 16.5 meters, which is really solid there. G grip, because I do a lot of hip fire here, and the hip fire to ADS accuracy is solid on this. Plus, you also get some horizontal recoil on there too. Extended mag 2 on here, 55. You do have a 952 RPM, so the damage per mag is not insanely good. It's not incredible by any means, but it's good enough for most squad sizes there, right? Just got to be mindful that you're going to have to reload a decent bit. Agility stock on here for some ADS speed and some strafe. All these stocks are honestly really good. Ergonomic is fantastic. Combat, quick draw, infiltrator, balanced. They're all really solid choices. Just a matter of what you're trying to get the most out of your gun. If you really want strafe, you can go for infiltrator. The menus are flashing at me. If you really want just ADS, you can go for quick draw. You got choices there for sure. Recoil springs on here too to just make the gun a little bit easier as well. But yeah, really fun pair here with the Cypher and the PPSH. Next up here, another AR SMG combo, the GPR, low recoil, manageable, consistent over range, and the Ladra up close, one of the new fastest TTK choices that we've got. GPR setup gonna be pretty basic as well. Here I'm switching things up, Jason Armory 2 times, another clean optic in my opinion here. Monolithic suppressor for the range and velocity, and reinforced barrel, that deadly duo yet again. 1209 velocity, 50 meter effective damage range, sitting pretty there. Vertical foregrip, max horizontal control makes this thing even more of a laser beam if that's possible. Then I got extended 2 on here as well. 60 rounder again with a 714 RPM. No worries there about the damage per mag stat whatsoever. And then on the Ladra here, once more, long barrel gives us a 16.8 meter effective damage range, really good for an SMG. Ranger foregrip for some mobility and some control. Extended 2 on here, 66 different sized mag here. Usually it's a solid one, like it's 50, 55, 60. 66 is kind of a weird number, but hey, the more the merrier in this case. We got quick draw on here for that snappier ADS, and then infiltrator stock for that better strafe. So this thing is agile, aggressive, and it's going to kill really quick. Really fun combination here too. Now I can't lie, part of me inside is very sad that the GRAU is nerfed. Now it's still in the meta conversation here. It is still a super low recoil option, so if you just want a gun that's easy to use, the GRAU is still going to be a solid choice. There are better rifles than it now. It's not the definitive #1 go-to rifle anymore like it was last season or last half season, but it's not bad by any means. Like, I'm still rocking this thing. It's not going to have the fastest TTK, but realistically when you factor in accuracy, it's going to be serviceable for sure. So obviously we're still rocking that GRAU conversion kit on here. Monolithic suppressor yet again with just this on there, since we obviously can't use a barrel. 1223 velocity, 41.9 meter effective damage range, pretty good all things considered on there. Vertical foregrip again just makes this thing really easy to use with that horizontal control. The only extended mag here, 50 rounder, that'll work just fine. And then infiltrator stock for that better strafe speed. Bummed that my favorite weapon in the game is no longer the definitive #1 rifle. It's still usable though, and I pair the Kompakt with this, a bullet machine. This thing just spits ammo out, but it also melts at the same time. You really got to focus on accuracy here though. So compensator helps out with that control. Ranger foregrip helps out with that control. Recoil springs helps out with that control. So this will be the most accurate build we can get on the Kompakt basically. And then to stack on that, I like extended 360 rounder, 1091 RPM. The damage per mag still is not fantastic, even with the max extended mag. So got to be mindful of that, but you'll have time to reload because this thing will melt through enemies. Quick draw rear grip on here too for that faster ADS as well. So really fun SMG that's becoming again one of those top tier choices now that they've nerfed some other things like the LC10. And by the way, as we're going through all the weapons and setups here today, if you guys enjoyed the video, you find the information helpful, a like rating is always seriously appreciated. Much love to everyone who takes the time to do so. And if you're new to the channel, maybe you have not subscribed yet, we should change that each and every day. I got you covered with all things going on in COD, so feel free to hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications. Next up, we've got one of our brand new guns for Season 5, the ABR A1, aka the AUG. Low-key, kind of feeling like the classic AUG from back in the day with Cold War Warzone. Not as broken, but similar approach to the setups here. Really good for like the mid to long range. And I pair this with the C9, obviously one of the most consistent SMGs that we've got. On the ABR here, I use the default optic. I think it's pretty clean. So I go for monolithic suppressor, better range, better velocity, reinforced barrel, more of the same on here. 1267 velocity, 60 meter effective damage range. This thing's going to be really, really reliable here. You just got to get used to that burst pattern, I guess, that burst feel, because that is different from full auto, obviously. Vertical foregrip on here. This thing doesn't have much recoil. This though ensures that it's going to be laser accurate. So I do rock that on there. That said, like, you might be really comfortable with the control even without this. You could use a comb for a faster ADS. You could use a fire mod overpressured for even crazier velocity. You don't even necessarily have to have vertical, which is kind of crazy. It says how, I know just how accurate this thing is, right? Or shows how accurate this thing is. Extended 2, 60 rounder, gonna work fine there. Then I like Infiltrator Pad on here for that better strafe speed. You don't even have to max it out to get this ideal loadout either. Level 39 out of 43 is where I'm at right now, and I've got the go-to setup. So yeah, this thing, nice breath of fresh air. Feels really, really good. C9 setup, not really changing that much here. Long barrel extends our damage range out to 18 meters, just over that, which is so good for a sub. We got Ranger on there, extended 2. This is going to be a 50 rounder, so with a 732 RPM, that'll be fine. Could be larger, but it'll suffice. We got quick draw on there for the snappier ADS, recoil springs for easier control on there. Pretty standard C9 setup at this point. Next up, sort of my mess around loadout right now, still testing some things out. AS Val got some hefty buffs with Season 5, and it was already very good. We'll probably focus on this gun a little bit more in other videos as well. I paired this with the LC10. Yes, this thing was nerfed. It's not going to knock it out of the competition entirely. It's not the best SMG in the world anymore, but if you particularly like the feel, the mobility, the irons of this gun, it's still going to be serviceable for sure. So I do still rock this here and there, although I'm mixing it up a lot more with my other SMGs right now as well. But same setup here. Long barrel extends our damage range out to 14.7 meters. Ranger foregrip on there, extended 2. Then that deadly duo for mobility of quick draw and infiltrator for that faster ADS, and that better strafe just makes this thing still feel very, very aggressive. AS Val though, an interesting gun just because its attachments are so different than everything else basically. So I do go for the suppressed reinforced barrel. It's a 2-for-1 basically here. So range, velocity obviously keeps us off the minimap. We're at an 1157 velo, 56 meter effective damage range, like all those stats there. Vertical foregrip makes it nice and easy to control. Extended 3 at 55. 896 RPM, not the greatest damage per mag, but usable nonetheless. Quick draw rear grip might as well get a little bit snappy, a little bit quicker there. And then also recoil springs. Again, just making it easier to use, obviously, with an iron sight base build. Like the feel of that quite a bit. But yeah, the AS Val, really big beneficiary of the Season 5 update. Hey everyone, just a heads up, my friends over at G Fuel are currently running a buy one, get one event. Quite literally the best time to pick something up from the G Fuel sites. If you're looking to try out a new flavor, restock on your current favorites, there's no better deal than buying one and getting a whole nother tub completely for free. This current BOGO event is only running until the 13th, so a limited time to go over and take advantage of those increased savings. The link will be down in the description below if you're interested. We of course got to talk the sniper meta. We've got a couple of options here that are still very, very good. The HDR obviously was nerfed, so there's a little bit more competition in that category now. The VICTUS, which got really good last half season where they buffed it to be infinite one shot, still fantastic here. So I like the SPX 6.6 times, just my preference there for my scope. If you like something else, feel free to change that up. Spirit Spirit Fire Suppressor for the better velocity. We also have Super Barrel for the better velocity. Then I got High Velocity for, surprise, surprise, better velocity. This gives us a 994. That'll be decent for velocity. It's not the best in class, but it's usable. You just got to learn that bullet drop and that bullet lead, and it's not too difficult. And especially with this thing having an infinite one-shot headshot, it's going to feel really, really reliable. Lastly on here, Rise 50 stock just for a slightly faster ADS. Might as well speed things up a little bit, get it to be a little bit more aggressive there. It's not going to be anything like the Car 98K by any means, but still just fine for the most part. And I like the MCW conversion kit still as a sniper support. This thing just shreds. This Jack Raven kit goes crazy in that first damage range for TTK. So I'm rocking that on there. Jack Cutthroat stock for the better mobility. So 2 aftermarket parts on 1 gun, kind of interesting there. 40 round extended mag is still the max. I wish they would buff this up. It would be so good with a 50 or a 60, but 40 will work. Spirit Fire Suppressor on here as well for the better range and velocity. We got nearly a 22 meter effective damage range, pretty solid for sniper support. And then the Night Hour optic here, just as a matter of preference, use whatever scope you're comfortable with there. But yeah, pretty fun non-Black Ops 6 sniping setup and sniper support here. Then, as I mentioned, the HDR, it was nerfed. It's still probably going to be the go-to sniper for most players, though. Infinite one-shot headshot and still a really, really good velocity, which they did nerf on here. I'm not really changing my setup at all, though. Monolithic Suppressor for that better velocity. Gain Twist Barrel for that better velocity. Still 1184, which is great for bullet drop and bullet lead with that infinite one-shot headshot. Lightweight bipod just to steady things out, makes it a little bit easier for me to stay on target there. Quick draw rear grip for the faster ADS. 615's not that fast anymore. They did nerf this, but it's a heavy sniper. You kind of expect that, honestly. Overpressured also, for what it's worth, factoring into that better velocity as well. But yeah, HDR setup not really changing. The stats on it did, though, with the nerf, but it's still a great choice. And the KSV, fantastic sniper support SMG here. I go for the compensator, just keeps things easy, especially with the iron sight based build here. Long barrel, damage range of nearly 20 meters, which is going to be really good with the mobility that this offers versus something like an MCW conversion, which is a little bit slower. Ranger foregrip, mobility and control, best of both worlds. Extended 250 rounder with an 800 RPM will suffice for sniper support. And then balance stock on here, you get some better movement, some better strafe. I think that's really good. Infiltrator is also a great alternative as well. The KSV, though, just a really fun mid-range based SMG. Now I do have a gunfighter build here for the XMG, which is just a laser beam melt machine. I love this thing. Typically when I'm using a gunfighter build, I go for the Grakova as a secondary because it's kind of like a pocket SMG. I don't really use it that much, though. I usually get like a second loadout and use a true SMG, or I pick up a gun off the ground and I use that. So I'm not really using this all that much, but it's there if you want it. Rapid fire, weighted stock, extended 3 long barrel compensator. But for the XMG, this is what we're focused on, obviously. Oturo Red Dot, usually my favorite optic for BO6 guns here. So of course I got that on there. Monolithic, reinforced, giving us some great range and velocity. 1166, 118 meter effective damage range, which is insane. Vertical foregrip, making that control even easier. Fast mag 1 is a 75 rounder, so it's a little bit faster than just like the default mag as far as reloading goes, mobility goes, and 75 rounds is still plenty for you know, most fights, really. Quick draw rear grip, might as well speed things up where we can. Buffer weight stock, offering insane amounts of recoil control here, so this thing will be a laser beam. And why not make it even easier with recoil springs on there too? This thing kind of goes crazy. One of the easiest guns to use in the entire game. We also have a new LMG here, the PML 556, which kind of acts as the Bruin, which is pretty cool. I think it's a pretty fun gun too. It's got a fast TTK over range in specific, similar to the XMG in a lot of ways there. Initially here, going for the Oturo Red Dot, of course. Monolithic suppressor on here for that better range and velocity. We got just over 1,000 velo and an 83 meter effective damage range, and that's without a barrel on here because I do opt for some control. This thing has recoil, so vertical foregrip and recoil springs are kind of a must-have. And I really like having the fast mag on here for a 75 rounder. Just speeds it up a tad bit. If you wanted to take this off, just have a heavy magazine and put on a long barrel or reinforced. You could do that too if you want to level it up to 36, but this is an ideal setup with just 26 levels, and I think it's really, really solid. I do pair this with the Saug, fantastic SMG overall. Long barrel gives us that effective damage range of just over 15 meters. We got the G grip on here. I do a little bit of hip fire with the Saug build in specific, so I like the added benefit of that hip fire to ADS accuracy. Extended 255 rounder will be just fine for all squad sizes. Commando rear grip actually gives us better sprint to fire and ADS, so a bit of best of both worlds there. And then recoil springs for more recoil control. Surprise, surprise. Pretty easy to use SMG and also very, very aggressive. And then lastly, here we got the 8 attachment FFAR, which just goes crazy, especially on Resurgence, but also works for Big Map as well. Same Grakova setup is back on the XMG loadout, so no need to rehash that. But for the FFAR, Oturo Red Dot, again, sitting pretty my favorite optic in the game. Compensator because there is noticeable recoil on this thing, so I like having this as opposed to Monolithic. Plus, with the reinforced barrel, we still got a 1087 velocity, 54 meter effective damage range. That's going to be just fine in so many different engagements. Vertical foregrip, again, attacking that recoil control. Extended 260 rounder will work, even though this is a bit of a faster fire rate. Quick draw rear grip for that faster ADS, infiltrator stock, or pad rather, for that better strafe on there, and then recoil springs for even more recoil control. This thing is just a laser beam and it absolutely melts. Quite frankly, all these guns are relatively straightforward, relatively easy to use, and they're super, super competitive, hence why they are in the top 10. That is going to wrap things up though. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like on it, and on your way out, hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications to always stay up to date. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.